All right, the last FBS game that we have on this show here today, before we do one traditional FCS game, we have the TCU Horned Frogs, a 7.5-point favorite on the road at Houston. This is, in fact, a Big 12 conference matchup. It's the opening to the Big 12 season for TCU. Game carries an over-under of 64.5 points. They're expecting some offensive fireworks here at TDECU Stadium. Pardon me, I always transpose those. Kicks off at 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox. My biggest question is, which Houston team are we going to get? Perhaps the one that gave up 14 points against UTSA, although in retrospect, maybe not a great UTSA offense, or at least a UTSA offense that's broken. We talked about that one recently. Or are they going to be the one that gave up 28 first quarter points to Rice? I don't know. I don't know that anybody knows. The right side of the offensive line for Houston is a massive issue. 42% of all the pressures that have come on Donovan Smith this year have been from the right guard and the right tackle. 0 pressures have come from the left side. So coaching staffs know that. They're going to be attacking that side, of course. But Donovan Smith, he's not really helping his guys. He is the 12th most quarterback attributed pressures allowed, according to PFF. And what that means is he's holding on to the ball too long. He's stepping up into pressure, etc. Maybe bailing on the pocket a little bit earlier than he needs to. But he's not helping his offensive line out, and his offensive line isn't helping him out, at least on the right side there. Dana Holgerson, he's calling the offensive plays. He assumed the position as the offensive player caller this offseason. They're 22 seconds per play, is the 13th fastest pace in the country. So they're at least moving along, but they're not a lot to show from it. They have 9 plays of 20 or more yards so far this season. That's tied with a myriad of teams for 68th in the country. So they're not very explosive, but they're running a lot of plays. Anyway, TCU's defense just looked downright confused against Colorado. I don't think they were prepared. They need better preparation and play calling from both coordinators. I thought that was the single worst performance from coordinators I saw in all of week 1 and all of week 2. Bryles, terrible, just awful start. And he's already a controversial hire for TCU in the first place. And he comes out and lays an egg like that. I don't know. And Gillespie on the other side looked really lost as well. So hopefully a little bit, they actually watched some tape this year for this week or something. But Houston secondary, they're a problem. They allowed 3 wide receivers to get 70 or more yards against Rice, and they gave up 400 total passing yards to Mr. Journeyman JT Daniels. So TCU should be able to move the football, at least, if they're prepared. But, what do you make of this game?
I agree with a lot of that. I have TCU -6, 66% win expectancy. In a game in which both teams really need a win. You touched on it. TCU lost on the national stage to Colorado in week 1 before coming back strongly against FCS Nichols last week. Houston started well with a win against Texas rival UTSA before getting shocked in overtime on the road at Rice last week. So TCU's down 14 spots in my rankings to number 34, and it's almost entirely because this defense has been way worse than I expected, falling from number 37 to number 73 nationally. The season win total projection is down from 7.9 to 6.0. With a loss this week, it brings bowl eligibility seriously into question. I mean, that seems unfathomable for a team that was 1 win away from a national championship 9 months ago, but such is life in the fast-paced, ever-changing college football landscape of 2023, I suppose. Houston is down 5 spots to number 66. They now have a negative 0.5 power rating, which means the Cougars are a half point worse than the average FBS team. That's worse than the Big 12. This game should be all about the offenses, as you said. TCU boasting a top 25 unit, Houston being top 40 still for me. The difference to me in this game is Houston's defense, which checks in at a horrid number 114 nationally. I mean, that's really, really bad when you're a Power 5 team, and it's their first year in the Big 12. I know it's your first year, but you're in Texas. Like, even when you were in the American, you should have been recruiting at a baseline level of almost average FBS in Texas, like coming to Houston. Now they have no excuses. They're in the Power 5. They're in the Big 12. It's TCU's first road game of the year, and they do have SMU up next in the Sonny Dykes Bowl. I just don't see this Houston defense getting enough stops, though, to win this one. So TCU, potentially a look ahead. You're on the road for the first time. I just don't see it, though. Bottom line, TCU -6, 34% chance for Houston to pull off the upset win at home.
To touch back on talent and recruiting stuff like that, Houston is 49th in the FBS in terms of team composite talent. Again, it comes down to scheme and it comes down to coaching, and they're just not getting it. I don't know what happened between the 2021 Houston team and these modern Houston teams. I know they have had turnover. I know they've had a lot of good DBs that are playing really well in the NFL right now, but, like, come on, guys. What are we doing? You can't do any better in 114th. Anyway, TCU.
I had him number 35 in the power ratings in 2021. This is a team that was number 31 in 2015, 33 in 2016. I know it's a long time ago now. I know it's different coaching regimes. I know it's different conferences, all that stuff. But yeah, they've fallen from the mid 30s as recently as 2021 to where they are now at number 66.
Jeez. TCU running back Amani Bailey. He has the 4th most yards after contact on average among guys that have carried the ball at least 20 times. 5.4 yards per clip. He's getting hit and moving sticks another 5 yards. And Houston is the 25th worst tackling team according to PFF's grades. Now, I'm probably going to look over yards in the game if I can get something around 50 or under for Amani Bailey. That's definitely a play for me. I don't know if they're going to be able to take him down. The total is kind of tough, even for these fast-paced teams. I think TCU's defense is a lot better than what they showed against Colorado. And Houston definitely doesn't have the same guys as Colorado has. They don't have a Travis Hunter. They don't have Xavier Weaver and Jimmy Horn and Shadur Sanders and Dylan Edwards and all those guys. So I'd probably hit under 28 as a team total for Houston if you can find it, if it gets there. Not 27.5 though. I think that's playing with fire a little bit. 27.5 is all I could find as of time recording. But if it does touch on that 28, I'm probably betting under the team total for Houston, and I'm also looking to bet over the rushing yards prop for Amani Bailey, again, depending if it comes around 50.